All right, and we are live. How's it going? I am back, ready to learn some more Unreal. Lucky this time, it seems that the lesson that was having a whole bunch of trouble running the previous time we were streaming here has now decided to run. So every single lesson can be clicked and played, at least from my previous test here a second ago. Fingers crossed that it stays that way the entire stream. So without further ado, I think we can get started.
Hello, in this video we're going to go over variables. Variables are properties that hold a value or reference an object or actor in our game. To access them and use them with our blueprints, if I just go over to my content drawer and I go over to my BP example that I made last time. To create a new variable, we can just go over to this variables tab here.
BP example. Ah yes, my cobblestone sphere from before.
And just click this plus button, and this will allow us to create a new variable. If I just select the variable and I go here, there are multiple different variable types in Unreal Engine. So right now we're on the Boolean variable type. If you just compile this, Boolean variable types.
You know what? Let's put a pause on the music here. Try to concentrate a little bit better.
Can basically hold value whether a thing should be true or false. If the Boolean variable is unchecked, that basically means it's false. If the Boolean variable is checked, that basically means it's true.
Yep.
The Boolean variable is normally used with the branch node. So if I just right click and I look for branch, I can drag in my variable. And when you drag in a variable, you can either get it or set it. If you get the variable, that'll basically get the value that the variable currently has. If I just drag this in again, and this time I select set, that'll allow me to set the value of the variable. So let's combine this all together.
Just go S bool get. So there's also this neat thing. So he dragged in a branch here, but I saw a nifty little YouTube short that told me this is not even actually necessary to have an extra branch. I can just do this, right click, convert to branch. Boom. Look at that. Incredible. And you just can convert it back to pure get.
Event begin play, I'm going to set my Boolean variable so that it's false. Then I'm just going to connect from here into here, and from here into here.
Oh, we're on the event graph. That's right. You got to set material. Yeah, last time I kind of just did my own thing. Just made a little game where I kicked a ball into 4 different areas and changed the material when it got into the different areas. Decently successfully too, which was nice. So let's come through here. Oh wait, no, we gotta bring in the test pool, get test pool. You know what? I'm just gonna go convert to branch. Do it like that instead.
If my variable is false, then I'm going to set the material of my sphere to be gold.
Oh.
Right now, my sphere is just this normal
Doing
color.
false.
I can compile this, and if I close this and I go over to my sphere, I'm also just going to go here and make it so I start where my camera is when I play my game.
Yes, hello. Can I help you? Would you like to get in your bed, ma'am? Our visitor here is here. Siren the cat has arrived. She's thinking about what she's wanting to do right now. And she wants to try to lay down on the keyboard. That's not going to work, sweetie. Get in your bed. Nope. Gotta lay down. Stay. And you know what? Go ahead and turn on the cat cam. There we go. No, you can't lay on the keyboard. I'm sorry. I know that's just your favorite spot in the world, but nope. You gotta lay on your bed. Not laying on the keyboard. Nope. Not on the keyboard. No. Okay, hi. Yes, I will pet you. You just lay in the bed. I'll give you some pets. You gotta stay there, okay? Stay. This is not an invitation to come down onto the keyboard. Nope.
Because my variable was set to false, it changed my sphere to be gold.
I'm trying to learn here, kitty. Come on. You're distracting. Don't make me kick you out of here. I'll do it. I'll kick you out.
Go back to my Boolean variable and I'll open it up. This time, let's make it true. And then I'm just...
You don't gotta lay there, but you can't lay on my keyboard. You gotta lay somewhere else. No, that's my keyboard. There you go.
Going to copy these notes. So if I go Control C, that will allow me to copy these. Then if I press Control V, that will allow me to paste them. This time, if this variable is true, we'll make it so my material is this rust color.
Okay, so we just want to do different materials depending on if that's true or false. Set material. So concrete and concrete tiles. That seems good.
If I compile this, close this, and I play my game, because the variable was true, my sphere is now this rust color.
So we got concrete tiles here. That works. Although, probably just want a way to change it, which I assume he's going to go over here in a second.
Let me just go back to my BP example, and I'll select my Boolean variable. Here in the details panel, we can change some settings of our variable. So for example, here I can change my variable name. I can just call this example Boolean. Here in the description, I can basically write a description for my variable. So I'll just make this an example. And if I hover over the variable, it'll basically let me know what I put for the description of the variable.
Some feedback on this guy's microphone as he's recording. His voice is only taking up like the high end of the EQ spectrum, but he's just left the whole EQ spectrum open. So every time he types, I just hear like the bassiest bass, like as he types. Could so easily be solved by just throwing an EQ on his mic and just putting a high pass filter on and just getting rid of the low end, because his voice is just on the high end. Just a little nitpick there.
If I want, I can change the variable type. For now, I'm not going to change it. We're going to work through the other variables in the upcoming videos. If we want, we can make the variable instance editable. That means we can basically change the variable in our game. I'll show you what I mean. Event begin play.
And apparently I've learned a lot just doing random research on my own. So instance editable. I don't think that means that in game you can change it. I think it can be changed regardless, just if you set up the right node order. But instance editable just means that when it's out and about here, you can click it and you can, right down here, you can change it to be true or false. And that's if you were to hold Alt, drag it, and make another instance of it. See, now this one could be true and this one could be false. So if I were to just save and play, see, now one of them is the plain concrete and the other one's the concrete tiles. That might not be that much more advanced than what's going on here.
I'm just going to remove this part where we set the variable, and instead I'm just going to connect it directly into here. I'll compile this, and if I close this, and I'll just select my sphere, and with it selected, I'm just going to press Alt to duplicate it.
Yep.
You'll notice I have my example Boolean variable here. Here, because I basically set the variable to be instance editable, and when you make a variable instance editable, it will have this eye icon to let you know that you've done that. I can set the value of it.
Oh, is that what the eye means? Yeah, look at that. Because as far as I know, that really just means it's exposed in the details panel.
I drag it into my game. So I'm going to make this sphere false, and I'll make this one true. So if I play my game,
He's doing exactly what I said.
One of my spheres is gold, and one of my spheres is rust, because we set one of the variables to be true, and one of them to be false. I'll just go back to my BP example. We can make a variable blueprint read only. That basically means we can't set the variable at all. So if, say, I set the variable, if I try and connect it into here, I connect it into here, and then I click this, blueprint read only. If I compile this, it's not going to allow me to do this because I've set it to blueprint read only, which means I can only get the value from the variable. So that can be helpful.
That makes sense.
Add that. We have this expose on spawn. We're not going to.
I'm trying to think of an example of when you would want it to be blueprint read only. The point of a Boolean is that it can be turned on or off. I'm sure there's a way, but we got another cat here. Got another kitty. Hi. Double trouble. I got to do stuff.
Going to really need this, but essentially this makes it so if, say, I were spawning this blueprint in.
Oof. Yeah, this ain't gonna work, sweetie. So yeah, I'm gonna put you in the other bed.
I'd be able to determine whether its variable should be true or false if that was checked.
Yeah, I can't figure out when you would want a Boolean to only be blueprint readable. Should only be determined by the internally by the blueprint logic. But if it's read only, then you're not determining anything. You're not changing anything. Does that not mean that it just can't be changed ever? Maybe there's a way to like hook that up to an outside Boolean somewhere else. I really can't think of an example of why it would be read only ever. Because the way he made it set, because you can't do a set on it. So it's saying, like, for example, like if something's falling or if something's casting an ability, but how do you change it to be set that way if you can't set it? Am I missing something here? I feel like I must be missing something here.
We have this private. If this is true, that basically means I won't be able to edit this variable outside of this blueprint. We can make it so other blueprints can communicate with each other and set their variables and set the value of their variables. If this private is set to true, then I won't be able to do that. And then exposed for cinematics is when you're like working with cinematics.
Is that it? It has to be, if it's read only and you want it to change, it has to be private, maybe? Or it has to be not private so that another blueprint somewhere else can change it? I guess.
We're not going to cover that. And then category, we can basically organize our variables so that they're
what? We're not going to cover what?
Outside of this blueprint. We can make it so other blueprints can communicate with each other and set their variables and set the value of their variables. If this private is set to true, then I won't be able to do that. And then exposed for cinematics is when you're like working with cinematics.
Oh,
we're not going to cover that.
Makes sense.
And then category, we can basically organize our variables so that they're in categories. So I could put this in a category called red, and you'll notice my variable is now in this red category. If I compile this and I close this, you'll notice it's now in a category called red. And if I wanted to remove it from the category, I could just select default and that will remove it. Okay, I'm now going to go over some other common nodes you'll probably use with the Boolean variable. If I just right click and I look for the AND Boolean, the way this will work is I need two Boolean variables to meet a certain criteria. So if I connect from here to here, and let's say I create another.
Okay, so this is when you would not use this this branch, like a bool converted to a branch. We would go and that up here, branch, that here. I feel like I need a little bit more room down here to work with. Let's bring that up here. You know, I've seen some people like kind of stack them like this. And that just bugs my OCD so bad. I don't really have OCD. I'm sure I have obsessive compulsive tendencies, but I don't know if it's a full-on disorder. I'd imagine most people have some types of obsessive compulsive tendencies in some minor ways. But to be a full-on disorder, I feel like you got to meet some other criteria. See, like, I like that. That looks nice, but that's a lot of work. Ooh, that looks real nice, though. If you were coming in and like really trying to organize your blueprint so they're readable, I feel like that's a nice way to do it. I like this. I do like that a lot. Or if there's like a plugin that does that automatically for you. Yeah, I've just seen people just straight just like that. I like that. That's probably fine, but doing it the other way seems a little crazy to me. Like that when you got two of them like that. Probably a little bit too much.
Variable. I'll just call.
Oh yeah. True, false. I guess I could just do that, you know.
This example, Boolean 2. And
name, test bool 1. I just duplicate it. Yeah, test bool 1 _ 0. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All right. Be like that. Yeah, that's not terrible. Can live with that.
I'm just going to delete the part where I set the first example boolean. And let's just select our example boolean. Let's not make it instant editable anymore. And let's
Now I'm sorry, I want to get sidetracked here and figure out like how you would really stack. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, this is a little bit more readable than I assumed it would be. That's not bad. That's not terrible, honestly. That's probably fine.
make this one true, and let's make the second one false. If I just compile this and I close this, when I play my game, because only one of my Boolean variables is true, both of the spheres are set to gold. Although, if say I make the example Boolean to true, and then I compile this, and I play my game, both of my spheres turn to the rust material. There's also this OR Boolean node, so if I just delete this, and I right click, and I look for OR Boolean, if either one of my variables is true, then it'll basically make my sphere the rust material. So if I make this one false and I make this one true, if I compile this and I play my game, both of the spheres turn to rust because one of the variables is true. There's also this thing called the not Boolean, which will basically inverse the Boolean. So if I just delete both of these, if I drag off here and I look for not Boolean, and then I connect from here to here, this will basically invert this Boolean. So right now, this is set to true. Although because I've added this not Boolean, this will make the result of this come off the false pin. So my material should turn gold. If I compile this and I close this, if I play my game, both of my spheres are gold.
What was that? Oh, not Boolean. That's how we do it. And just, yeah. Oh, it's instance editable as well. Yeah. Okay.
And if, say, I were to uncheck this, then it's going to do the opposite. So it'll make both of my spheres rust.
All right. End of that lesson.
Hello. In this video, we're going to cover the other variable types found in Unreal Engine. If I just go over to my variables tab and I create a new variable, I'm going to just change the variable type to be a byte. A byte variable can store any whole number between 0 and 255.
A byte? Why would you need to do that? Like, you really trying to save on memory?
So I can make this store the number 10 for me. Although if, say, I try and make this store a number higher than 255, it's not going to let me. I've never really had to use the byte variable. The other variable we have is the integer.
Yeah, so why? Okay. Why cover it? It is just to say that it exists. Didn't really tell me anything about it.
Variable. This stores large whole numbers. It can store up to the number 2 billion. You'll probably use this variable to store numbers in Unreal Engine. Then we have the integer 6.
Never heard of a byte variable ever. Heard of integer, and I've heard integer 64, but byte is crazy. I don't know why you would use that ever. To Google, why would you ever use a byte variable? Unreal 5. Byte variables in Unreal 5 are primarily used for memory optimization and network efficiency in specific scenarios. While modern hardware often provides ample memory, using appropriate data types can still contribute to a well-optimized game, especially in large-scale projects or when targeting lower-spec platforms. Yeah, you're trying to save memory. You didn't say anything about that. I can't imagine why you'd ever be low-level programming with Blueprint.
Before, this can hold very large whole numbers, so it can hold up to 9 quintillion. We then have the float. This allows us to store numbers with decimal places. So with the float, I can store the value 3.14. Let me just compile this. So if I just make this 3.14 and I compile this, the float can store that. But let's say I tried to store this in the integer can only store whole numbers. So if I compile this, then it's just going to make this 3. We then have the name, string, and text. The name, we just use this to normally store as the variable name suggests the name of things. The string, this we can basically use to store text that you need to manipulate. So with the string variable, we can kind of like dynamically adjust this. So in Unreal Engine, there's this node called append string. So if you just look for append.
What did I do? Indexing blueprints. What is happening here? I just hit the launch codes. You found it. Yeah. I wasn't really curious where it is, but thanks. There it is. I hit something. I don't know what I hit, but it initiated a whole countdown. I had needed 2 keys to turn that. Sorry, Mr. President. That man don't know what he's doing either.
And I could make this value say, I have, and then let me just drag in.
Wait, what is this?
There's this node called append string. So if you just look for append, and I could make this value say, I have, and then let me just drag in this variable. I'll get it, and I'll make this say a cat. And then I'm just going to create another string variable and set it. With the string variable, I can perform manipulation functions on it.
Okay.
And then the text variable.
That's the same thing as just like naming a string variable and just doing like variable plus variable and putting 2 strings together. That makes sense. This would also be a good use case of like if there's a username that needs to be used, like username did this. Enemy name did that. Username did this to enemy name. I don't know.
Let me just change this variable type to be a text.
Oh, he initiated the launch codes as well.
Here by pressing Alt. The text is basically used to display text that you want to show on the screen. If you ever localize your game into other languages, all the text you want to display in your game needs to be a text variable. So the text variable is just used to display the text that you want to display for your game in Unreal Engine. We then have the vector, rotator, and transform.
I don't imagine you would be using this small little node here to store large amounts of text, right? Like you'd probably just link an external file, I would assume. Because that seems like a lot. That's crazy.
I'm just going to create a new variable and I'll make it a vector. I'll compile this and we can see the vector is basically made up of an X, Y, and Z. So I have my sphere. I can just get it and I can just drag off here and look for set location.
Chilly.
And I'll look for this one, set world location. And with this vector variable, I can define where in a 3D world space I want my cube to go. So I can define an X value, a Y value, and a Z value. So if I just make this 0, 0, 0, and I connect this into here, and event begin play.
I definitely remember all
set
of
the
this.
Location of
Wait until we get to the stuff I don't know yet.
Go to this position. If I play my game,
just want to make sure though. I might say some D stuff.
Because it's just gone to 0, 0, 0. So let me just move it to a location I know. So minus 20, 40, 370. So I'm just going to do that. And then let me just move it here. When I play my game, my spheres will move to that location. We then have the rotator variable. Let me just change the variable type to be a rotator. I'll compile this.
I don't remember last time it bringing up this whole launch code sequence every single time you needed to change a variable type. But it's doing it in his video. It's doing it on my end as well. I just don't remember that happening. I feel like I've changed variable types without that happening before. Weird.
Getting some error messages because this can't go into that. And let me just delete this. I'll compile this. So this basically stores the rotation of an object. And then we have the transform. So I'm just going to create another variable. I'll make this transform. And this variable can store the rotation, location, and scale of an object. So if I just get this, I can just right click on this variable and go split structure pin, because this is made up of a location, rotation, and scale.
You remember that?
If I wanted to, I can select this, and if I compile it, we can see it's made up of these 3 values. So for example, we could use this variable to set the transform of our sphere, and that would set its location, rotation, and scale. And with all variables, because you may need to drag them into your event graph a lot in Unreal Engine, if you hold Control when you drag in a variable, that will automatically get it. And if you hold Alt when you drag in a variable, that will automatically set it.
Oh, I did not know that. See, little tidbit of knowledge that I could have passed up if I would have just tried to skip over all this. Oh, what are you doing now? You done with the bed? You just wanna sit right in front of my keyboard now? What am I gonna do with you? Except, don't look at me like that. Come here. Say hi. Give a little shout out. Tell them, give a review of the bed. How is it? Great? Terrible? What do you think? Yeah, I think she'd rather just lay here. You know what? Sure. Oh, someone's jealous. I can't please 2 cats at once. Can I hold both of you at the same time? Will you let me do that? Oh, no. You said, nah, if that. This girl, Domino, much less prefers being held. She's not big on being picked up. Oh, gosh. Don't need a brushing again. Shed so fast. Yes. Hi, girl. Oh, hey. What's going on, bacon guy? Good to see you dropping in. Just have a cat dilemma on my hands right now. And this video series is finally working. Last week when I tried to get it going, says hi. Last week when I tried to get the video tutorials going again, pretty much none of these videos I'm watching right now were working. Every time I clicked it, it would like go back to the home page for the tutorial series. I think there was like 2 or 3 of them that were working, so I just took a break and just made like a little thingy where I just like kicked the ball around into different trigger boxes and set the material of the ball just depending on what box it was in, just like a little exercise for seeing if that was something that I could get done. And I did it. I think I might actually still have hang on. I think I still have the code for it in the material box. It's just not hooked up right now. Let me see if I can pull that up. It was material changer. Let's get that. All right. Got to get back into your bed. Let's just scale that. Scale it up. And I should probably hook that back up. We don't need to spawn balls anymore. I also did it or made it set up to where I could spawn extra balls every time I went inside the material editor, which isn't really a material editor anymore at that point. It probably still works that way if I were to just hit play on it. Probably going to spawn a ball. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I did. There we go. Spawning balls. But if I unhook all this, bring this down here. Boom, boom. Set material. Oh, and then I made it instance editable. That's right. Where are you? Oh, material. It's right there. I'm looking right at it. Go bush. Bring this over here. Oh. Change that to cobblestone. Actually, the ball's already cobblestone right now. Change that to door. Sure. That right there. Play. Kick it on in. And it's grass. Get back over here. Got to go over there. And now it's a door. It's a sphere shaped door. Don't tell him he's not a door. He might get sad. He thinks he's a door. That's what I did last week. Just as like a little exercise since the video series, the tutorial series videos were not working, but they're working now. So we're back to that. Get rid of those. Oh, that's right. You just said something about being able to pull this out as a set and a get, just depending on holding control or alt. All right. Next video. Cool.
Hello! In this video, we're going to cover some of the most common nodes that you'll probably be working with when using blueprints in Unreal Engine. To get started, I'm just going to go over to my level blueprint. And the first node we're going to go over is the branch node. We already covered this. It's very simple. This basically takes a condition, and depending on what this condition is, it will do true or false.
The cat's
because
gone.
the branch node is used
All right, here, let's switch
commonly,
this.
there's a shortcut for it. If we just press the B button on our keyboard and left click, that will allow us to quickly create a branch.
Oh,
The next node I want to show you is the delay node.
that's cool.
So if
I didn't know that.
And I look for delay. Here I can specify a duration. So let's make it 2. And then I'll connect this into here. And what this will do is it'll make it so I have to wait 2 seconds and then it will print the word hello. We can compile this, close this, and test this out. When I play my game, I have to wait 2 seconds, then it print strings hello. There's also this thing called the retriggable delay. So I'm just going to right click and look for it. And I'm going to make it 2 seconds. And then I'm just going to right click in some free space and look for the 1 key. Whenever I press the 1 button, I'm going to have a retriggable delay.
Triggerable delay.
And then I'm going to print string the word 1.
Just make sure this thing works. Looks pretty straightforward. Boom. Yep. Oh, it gave me 2 hellos. Why did it give me 2 hellos? I don't think I have a hello anywhere else. Nope. What in the world? Delay. Print string. I don't. This feels pretty straightforward. Can't imagine why I'm getting 2 hellos right there. Okay. Not important. Screen, print a log. That's so weird.
And what this will do is...
Oh, yeah. That is it. You figured it out. There are 2 of these balls in the world. Good thinking. That makes sense. I forgot it was on the ball here. I don't even think he's in the BP example anymore. I think he's on the, yeah, he's in the level first person. I'm in the wrong blueprint. Where was my level blueprint? What's it called? Level first person. Yeah. That's just bringing up in the level as if I'm trying to load it. Good sir, where did you open this from? Oh, duh, it's up there. Forgot it's up top. Right up here. Level blueprint.
Get started, I'm just going to go over to my level blueprint. And the first node we're going to go over is the branch node. We already covered this. It's very simple. This basically takes a condition, and depending on what this condition is, it'll do true or false. Because the branch node is used so commonly, there's a shortcut for it. If we just press the B button on our keyboard and left click, that will allow us to quickly create a branch. The next node I want to show you is the delay node. So if I just drag up here and I look for delay, here I can specify a duration. So let's make it 2, and then I'll connect this into here. And what this will do is it'll make it so I have to wait 2 seconds, and then it will print the word hello. We can compile this, close this, and test this out. When I play my game, I have to wait 2 seconds, then it prints strings hello. There's also this thing called the retrievable delay. So I'm just going to right click and look for it.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to make it 2 seconds. And then I'm just going to right click in some free space and look for the 1 key. Whenever I press the 1 button, I'm going to have a retrievable delay. And then I'm going to print string the word 1. And what this will do is, if we wait 2 seconds, then it's going to print string the word 1. Although if I keep on pressing 1, calling the retrievable delay again will cause it to reset. So if I compile this, if I close this and then I play my game, if I keep on pressing 1, then it's never going to print string the word 1 because I keep recalling my retrievable delay. But if I wait for, let's say, 2 seconds without pressing 1, then it's going to print string the word 1. So that's the way the retrievable delay works. Next, I'm going to show you the do n node. So I'm just going to delete everything. And then if I just right click and I look for do n, I'll scroll down.
Do n.
And here it is. This will basically perform this node n amount of times. So if I make this 5, and then I just connect from 1 into here.
Feels silly that the one that is actually highlighted is way down here. You'd think it would want to maybe have whichever is highlighted right at the top. There's probably a setting for that. That's like almost all the way down here already. That's funny.
Here, and I just drag off here and I look for print string. And here I'll make this a success. I'm only going to be able to press my 1 button 5 times and have it successfully print string the word success. If I compile this, close this, and then I play my game, I'll press 1, and it should print string 5 times. Every time I press 1, it should be able to print string the word success. Although if I try and press 1, the 6th time or the 7th time, any time after 5, then it's not going to succeed. That's the way the do n node works, and if I want to, I can reset this. So if I just look for the 2 key, I can make it so if I press 2 again, it will
I was pressing it at the exact time it was disappearing, so I didn't even feel like it was working. Okay. Do n once. Reset with 2. Perfect.
reset this. I'm just going to delete these 2. There's also the do once. So if I just drag off here and I look for do once, the way this will work, as the name implies, it's only going to allow me to do this once. And to reset this, I can just plug something into here. And we can configure this so it starts closed, meaning I'll need to reset this. If I just uncheck this, and then I compile this, and I close this, and I play my game, when I press 1, I'm only going to be able to see that print string 1 time, because it's only going to perform this action once. So that can be helpful if you want to just perform an action one time. There's also the flip-flop node to help demonstrate this. I'm just going to add a cube to my level, and we can just select this cube.
Add a cube.
If I go over to my level blueprint, I can just right click and create a reference to my cube, and then I'm just going to delete this, drag off here, and look for the flip-flop node.
Wait, how'd you create a reference?
My level, and we can just select this cube. If I go over to my level blueprint, I can just right click and create a reference to my cube, and then I'm
just
going
type
to delete
cube.
this, drag off here, and look for the flip-flop node. The way this will
How did you reference your cube, sir?
drag off here and look for cube to my level, and we can just select this cube. If I go over to my level blueprint, I can just right click and create a reference to my cube.
Oh, it's right there.
And then
I missed it.
I'm going to delete this, drag off here, and look for the flip-flop node. The way this will work is when I first press 1, first it's going to perform off A, then it's going to perform off B. So when I press 1,
Flip-flop.
I'm going to first set the material. So if I just look for set material, and just select static mesh component, connect from A into here, and let's make it so this cube will be gold. Then when I press 1 again, let's make it so this cube will be a different color. So I'll just copy everything here. I'm just pressing with my left mouse button, Control C, and then Control.
Make it a bush.
V.
Okay.
And let's make it silver. Okay, there is no silver, so let's make it steel. I'll compile this, close this. When I play my game,
Set material. Oh, we drag off of that. Okay. And concrete. That'll work. Down there. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, duh. It's referencing the cube. Perfect. The concrete or the cube bush. It's very funny.
when I press 1, first this cube is gold, then when I press 1 again, it will become steel. So that's the way the flip-flop node works.
That is the way the flip-flop node works.
Hello! In this video, we're going to go over some more
Hello.
common nodes. If I just go over here and open up my level blueprint, I'm just going to delete everything. And if I just right click, I'm first going to show you the for loop node. So here it is. And the way this will work is, right now, the first index is set to 0 and the last index is set to 0. If I set this to be 1 and 5, and then let's say I connected from here to here, it's going to run this for loop node from whatever my first index is to whatever my last index is. So in this case, it would run this 5 times because my first index is starting at 1 and my last index is at 5. If I make this
that's a lot of nodes.
And
yeah, that's right. I remember accidentally right-clicking and expanding this at some point before. The last time I went through his original tutorial. What I meant to do was like see if there were more pins here. But what I actually ended up doing was expand node and revealed that the for loop is actually 7 nodes in a trench coat, tending to be 1 node. Best viewers on Streamboo. No. That's a ban. Mr. Cardi Reactor. I'm not even going to read your name. You get the ban here. Where is it? There it is. All right. Goodbye, bot. Got him. Yep.
Ten. Then it would still run this 5 times. It's going to start at whatever index this is and end at whatever index this is. This index here will let me know what index I'm currently on, and this completed node will also fire when it's finished running. So let's see this in action. I'm going to make this 1 and I'll make this 5, and let's just have a print string, and we'll make it print string whatever index it's currently on. And then when it's finished running, we'll make this print string the word completed.
Okay. So he was just doing a print string. Is that what he did? Oh yeah, because it's saying which index it's on. Okay.
If I compile this, close this, and I now play my game. When I press 1, we can see it print strings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then completed. I'm just going to delete
I
this.
put that on begin play. All right. Event 1. Okay. Oh, it just did them all at the same time. Is that what it's supposed to do? Is that what his did? Looks like it, yeah.
When I press 1, we can see it print strings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then completed. I'm just going to delete this. We also have the for loop with break. The way this will work is exactly the same, although this time we can make the for loop have a break, and whenever we call this break, it'll basically stop our for loop node from running. So if, say, this is at 1 and this is at 5, and at the third index I made the stop running, then it's not going to run this for the last 2. We then have the gate.
Well, that's a lot of nodes.
It has an enter, open, close, toggle, and exit. Right now, my gate is closed. So if I just uncheck this, and let's say I connect it from 1 into here.
You're not going to do anything with the for loop with break? Did I miss it? Or you gloss over it?
1, and this is at 5. And at the third index, I made the stop running. Then it's not going to run this for the last 2.
See.
We then have the gate. It has an enter, open, close, toggle, and exit. Right now, my gate is closed. So if I just uncheck this, and let's say I connect it from 1 into here, and then I had a print string. When I pressed 1, it would print string the word hello. I'm just going to fast forward and add some nodes. If, say, I press the 3 button, then this would close the gate, and it would mean if I pressed 1,
got it,
then this will not exit because the gate is closed. Although if I then press the 2 key to open this gate, I'll then be able to press 1 again, and it would print string hello. We then have the toggle. So if my gate is closed, then the toggle will make the gate open. And if, say, my gate was open, and then I toggled it, it will make the gate closed. And then this start closed.
Test that out. But I will. I'll just set it as 1 and 2. I won't do the open and close. We'll just do a toggle. Event 2. Oh, it starts closed. That's why. Okay. Okay. Then toggle it off. Don't work. Okay. Toggle it on. And it works. Look at that.
Makes it so the gate starts closed. We then have the sequence. So if I drag off here and I look for sequence, the way this will work is I'm just going to add some pins.
And we're just blowing through
When
these.
I press 1, first it's going to do this, then I'll do this, then I'll do this, then I'll do that.
Then I'll do what now? You're going so fast, bro. He really said I'll do this and then this and then this and then that.
So if I drag off here and I look for sequence, the way this will work is I'm just going to add some pins. When I press 1, first it's going to do this, then I'll do this.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. I thought he was narrating what he was doing in that moment. I was I was a little I felt a little left behind there, but that makes sense. He's saying now, yeah, the sequence will do this, 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 and then this. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
We then have the switch node. So I can just right click and look for switch on int. And the way this will work is, let me just create some pins. And I'm just going to right click here and promote this to a variable. So this will be an integer variable. And let me just compile this. Let's say I made this 2 and I press 1. This will basically go from here to here. And then because this variable is 2, then it's going to fire off here. If say I made this 0,
okay,
then it's going to fire off here. We also have switch on string. So if I look for switch on string, we can do the exact same thing, but with.
Okay, that makes sense. It could be a way to like determine when a certain one of multiple doors will open, or that could be like a way to like level gate something too, or like difficulty, adjust a difficulty on something. Even like a switch on int depending on the level. Be like that difficulty, or the boss does that, or that, or that.
Strings, and we also have switch on name. We can do the exact same thing for names. So those are some more common nodes that you'll probably use when working with Unreal.
Feels like he's kind of rushing through this. Like he's explaining it, but like it just seems his pace is much faster than before. I don't know if he felt rushed when he was doing this, like because all the information's there. But I feel like he did a little bit more explaining, or he made more examples based off of the notes he was explaining before. Which, I mean, up until this point, I think we did get to these nodes in the past. It's not a huge deal. I just need more experience with them in the future. I want to make like an actual project, like just a simple little basic, most beginner possible game in existence. Maybe just like roll a ball around from A to B, grab a key, go to the next area. I don't know. Something very basic. Once this is all said and done. Not sure if I want to go through a whole nother course after this. Might be beneficial to just like toy around and look things up as I go.
Hello. In this video, we're going to go over custom events. If I just go over to my level blueprint, in some free space, I'm just going to right click and look for add custom event. And I'm just going to call this my example.
Expand that.
Custom event. So similar to my event begin play node, it will just have one pin, which I can call. When I call my example custom event, I'm just going to make this print string the word example. And because I made this a custom event, I can call this elsewhere in my event graph. So I can just right click and look for event begin play, and event begin play, I can call my example custom event. And this will basically run this code here. If I double click on this, it will take me to where this is.
Try to get rid of all this here. Oh, should turn the cat cam back on. She is in her bed. There we go. Kind of out of frame there, though. Hey, there you are. Yeah, what is that?
With custom events, they can also have inputs. So I can just create an input and you'll see it appear here. And I can basically make this have a branch, connect from here to here. If this is true, it will print string example. If this is false, it will print string loser. And then
Hey, okay. He didn't even write like winner or loser, just example and loser. Suck. And how'd you make the pin again? Oh, an input? Okay. Makes sense. Oh, up here. Loser bull. Not a loser yet. Loser. There we go. Seems in theme with what he was going for. Seems indicative of maybe what it's like to make a whole tutorial series while being rushed on Unreal 5 basics. Just feels like a loser, I guess. You're fine, man. You got a whole thing going on. Just pace yourself better.
and you'll see it appear here. And I can basically make this have a branch, connect from here to here. If this is true, it will print string example. If this is false, it will print string loser. And then I have the option to control
I don't know why that's so funny
that
to me.
variable here. So if I make this checked, it'll print string example. And if I left this unchecked, it'll print string loser. You may find yourself wanting to
Loser bowl. Let's do go back and forth between not a loser yet and being a loser. Wait, Alt to set, right? And we'll go. Oh, we won't do it on begin play. Actually, I'll put this here. This here. Oh, no, I don't think that's what we want to do. I think that should be fine. Just do it like that and then like that. There we go. Am I a loser? Let's find out. Loser. Not a loser yet. Loser. I'm learning so much.
You create these, so I thought I'd just cover this.
Thanks, dude.
Hello, in this video we're going to go over timelines. Timelines are a node which we can use to create simple animations. So to get started, if I just go over to my content drawer and I'm just going to go to my blueprints folder and I'm going to create a new blueprint. So I'm going to right click, go to blueprint class, select an actor, and I'm just going to call this my BP_door. I'm going to open this up, go over to components and go over to add.
Okay, just made a new blueprint. BP_door.
Door.
Perfect.
I'm going to open this up, go over to components and go over to add and look for a static
Opening
mesh.
the door.
For the static mesh, I'm just going to look for my door model. This comes with the starter content.
Oh, really? Hey, look at that. It's a door.
And I'm just going to go over to the event graph. Then, in some free space, I'm just going to right click and look for add timeline. And we want this one with the time icon.
Okay.
And we can double click and head inside
Add
here.
timeline.
With a timeline, we can add tracks. So I'm just going to go for the track and add a float track.
That's not what I selected. Oh, timeline component and timeline. You did say with the clock next to it. I got confused. Let's disconnect that for now.
I'm just going to call this my open door track.
Okay, you said to make a track. Okay, so if I click it, I click track. Got it. What kind of track,
We
sir?
can add tracks. So I'm just going to go for the track and add a float track.
Float track.
I'm just going to call this my open door track. And right now, the length of this is 5. So I'm actually
Okay.
going to reduce this. So the length of my timeline is 1. Then in the timeline,
Okay.
we can add some points. So I'm just going to right click and look for add key to curve float. This will allow me to add a point in my timeline. I can also just select this and manually place my point. Follow along with me here. For time 0, so when the timeline is at a value of 0, I want this to have a value of 0. Then I'm just going to right click again
0
and add
and
another
0.
key to the curve float. At time 1, I want my timeline to have a value of 1.
Oh, way up there.
We can also click these arrows, and this will basically resize the timeline so it fits in our view. Then if I just go back to my event graph.
Wait, which arrow? Wait, what? What? No, what'd you say?
We can also click these arrows, and this will basically resize the timeline so it fits in our view. Then if I just go back to my event graph, I'm going to see the track for the timeline that I just made. I'm just going to connect from event begin play into here. So in my timeline, we've made it so at time 0, it'll have a value of 0, and then at time 1, it'll have a value of 1. So over the duration of 1 second, my timeline is going to go from a value of 0 to 1, and that's going to come out through here. As my timeline is doing this, this update node is going to fire. So we're going to use this to basically make an animation of a door opening. So if I just drag in my static mesh, just drag off here and look for set world rotation. Right click on this and look for split structure pin. This will split this so it's a float value. Then if we just right click, look for the LURP node. This is a node which is commonly used with timelines. The way it works is it has an alpha value, which
world rotation. It'd have to be placed the same way each time, I think. If there's a better way to set like local rotation. Nope. Transform, maybe? Nope, doesn't look like it. Maybe if I made like a variable transform rotation. I still wonder if that's probably still just the same as like world rotation. I'll mess with it when he's done here.
which can go from a value of 0 to 1. When the alpha is 0, then it's going to be whatever value A is. And when the alpha is 1, right click on this and look for split structure pin. This will split this so it's a float value. Then if we just right click, look for the LURP node. This is a node which is commonly used with timelines. The way it works is it has an alpha value, which can go from a value of 0 to 1. When the alpha is 0, then it's going to be whatever value A is. And when the alpha is 1, it's going to be whatever value B is. So if I made this 10, when the alpha is 1, then this return value is going to be 10. Whereas if I made this 0, then this return value is going to be A. And if say I made this 0.5, then this return value is going to be 5, because it's going to be between these two amounts.
Ah, okay.
If I just go to my viewport, let's select the door. And right now we can see it has a rotation of 0. I'm just going to go here where it says select and rotate objects. And I can rotate it so it rotates to minus 90 degrees in the z-axis. I'm just going to click here to reset it. Then if I go back to my event graph, here in the B, I'm going to make this minus 90. And then I'm going to connect from my open door track into the alpha here, and from this return value into the Z, and from update into here. Now if I compile this, if I close this and I go over to my content drawer.
Set into the alpha track? That's what he said? Yeah, alpha track.
Okay. And from this return value into the Z, and from update into here. Now if I compile this, If I close this and I go over to my content drawer, if I place my door here, when I play my game, over the duration of 1 second, the door should open. So that is the timeline. Let's go over some more details about it. If I open it up, we also have this finish node.
Oh yeah,
This will
look at
basically
that.
fire when the timeline.
See, so I assume if I try to rotate this over here, that's not going to work properly. My assumption. Yep, no, it just starts at the beginning. Wonder if you'd have to maybe make the lerp instance editable. And then like put in whatever default rotation it has. But I would think there'd be a way to just like add on to its current rotation.
Timeline has finished. So once the timeline gets to 1 second and it's finished doing everything, it will fire off the finish node. Right now we've played.
That makes sense.
We can also reverse it. This will basically make.
He probably is going to show that.
Reverse order. So from 1 to 0. We have this play from start. This will basically make it so it starts the timeline from the very start. Because we can stop timelines, so let's say I played my timeline and then I put a node here to stop it. If I connect it from start, it'll basically make the timeline play from the very start. We can reverse the timeline. This will basically make the timeline play in the opposite direction. We can reverse from end. This will basically make the timeline reverse from the very end. And we have this set new time. We can basically make the timeline play from a certain time. If I head inside here, right now we created a float track. So that outputted this float pin here. We can also create a vector track. This gives us a value in the X, Y, and Z. We can create an event track, so we can make it so the timeline can trigger certain events when something happens. We can add a color track. This will make it so we can change the color of something over the duration of a time. We have some settings up here. Right now we have this use last keyframe. Right now it's unchecked. When it's unchecked, the timeline will skip the final frame on the last tick. If it is checked, then it will show the timeline will process the final frame of the keyframe on the very last tick of the animation. We have this autoplay. So timelines don't need to be connected to play events. If I have this autoplay on, it's going to automatically just play my timeline. If I turn this on and I go over to my event graph and I just break the link here and I play my game, it will autoplay the timeline. I don't need to connect it to a node necessarily.
Got it.
We have this loop. So when the timeline finishes playing, if you want it to indefinitely loop, we can just have this be checked. We have replicated. This is for like if you're making.
Is that just going to go back and forth?
Game, but we're not going to cover that. We have this ignore time dilation.
Yep.
We can basically make it so the timeline is not affected by this. I'll show you what the time dilation is. So I'm just going to go to my level blueprint.
Oh, I didn't even see your previous message. That would be set relative rotation. Okay. Got it. Yeah. If he doesn't show that, I'll mess with that.
And I'm just going to press the 1 key. And then look for flip, flop. And then I'm just going to drag off here and look for set global time dilation. We can use this to speed up our game or slow it down. If I make this 2, then it's going to basically increase the speed of everything in my game by 2.
Okay. Let's go. And 1. Flip flop. Yeah. Set time, global time dilation. Getting into relativity here.
I'm just going to copy and paste this. I'll make this one 1. And now if I compile this, whoops, I'm getting an error message because I'm calling a custom event that I deleted. So let me delete this. I'll compile this. And if I play my game, when I press 1, everything's happening twice as fast because I set my global time dilation to 2. We could also make this 0.5.
Hey, you're going fast.
But we can make it so the timeline is not affected by this. So, those are timelines. Hello.
Those are
In
timelines.
this video,
and now he's just going into functions. Okay. Let's try to play with that then. Doesn't seem like he's going to go into that. All right. Said that would be set relative. Relative rotation. And I guess it doesn't really matter if I do scene root or static mesh. It's just the door. Yeah. We'll stick with static mesh since we're doing static mesh up here. Okay. Then split. Unplug. There we go. Unplug that. Sweet. Let's turn off autoplay. And I get rid of, oh, that's on the other blueprint. All right, we'll do event 1. Okay. Sweet. Oh, wait, I think I still have 1 on the time dilation. Okay. Sir, you are already closed. Did I change something here? Check. Just make sure. Let's plug all that back into here to see if that still works. I think I changed something. Well, that doesn't need to be open. Alrighty, what did I mess up here? Got the track. I don't imagine it's that. That's the only thing that's really different. But that's just an event that triggers it, so that shouldn't matter. It did matter. It's already closed. What in the heck? That is so weird. No idea why that would be happening. I picked location. Oh, location. I did, didn't I? Look at that. Rotation. All right. Get out of here. Stupid relative location. I don't need you. Split. Okay. Z. Okay. Okay. Play from start. Yeah, I'm hitting one. What in the silly goosery is going on here? One doing something else somewhere? No. I feel like it would still work if that were the case. It would just do both at the same time. Actors do not auto receive input. Oh, duh. Thank you. It's elementary. And welcome. Duh, there's no controller on it. The level blueprint works that way, but this does not. That makes sense. Appreciate the tip. Yeah, I guess we'll just stick with begin play on that. I might be getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go on to functions.
We're going to go over functions. Functions are a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. It can take in inputs, process them, and give us some outputs. So if I just go over to my level blueprint, to create a function, I can just go here and create a new function. And I'm just going to call this function welcome player. Functions can take any inputs and give us any outputs. So I'm just going to add an input, and I'm going to make this say player name. For the variable type, I'm going to make this a string. And then I'm going to just drag off it and look for a return node. Return nodes are always placed at the end of a function, and we can make it so the function can do some calculation and then just give us a output.
Wait, how'd you get the return node there? Oh, you just drag off of it. Got it. There we go.
Return node. Return nodes are always placed at the end of a function, and we can make it so the function can do some calculation and then just give us a output. I'm just going to go and add an output, and I'm going to make this a welcome message. I can add any number of outputs, so I could make a Boolean output if I wanted to. I'm just going to remove this, and then I'm just going to right click and look for append, and I want this one, append string, and I'm going to make A say hello, and B I'm going to basically plug into here. Append will basically combine two strings together, and then I'm going to connect this into the output node.
Okay.
And then if I just go over to my event graph, event begin play, I can call my welcome player. And here I can specify the name of the player. So I could use my name, I'll put Joshua. And then if I just drag off here and I look,
Just on the same level blueprint. Yep. Event graph. Okay. Sweet.
look for print string, and then connect this into here. I'll then compile this, save this, and now if I play my game, it will say, hello, Joshua. So I
Missed something here. I'll go back and review that. I think you just changed the value of welcome message, I assume.
output node.
Hello. Oh, I thought I typed hello there. Okay. No, I did not. Look at that. That makes more sense. I think we did the wrong order here. Yep. There we go. That makes sense. Maybe a space. Oh. Beautiful. Putting one word after the other here. Some advanced techniques going on.
And then if I just go over to my event graph, event begin play, I can call my welcome player.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Functions can help make your event graph a lot more readable. Let's say you have some complex code inside here. Instead of having it in your event graph, you can have it in a function and it makes things a lot nicer. I'm just going to select the function. You can give functions descriptions, put them in categories, similar to how we could put variables in categories. I can give the function a keyword, so let me make this the welcome player. If I just right click and I look for welcome player, I'm going to see it. So you can do that if you want to, basically.
Did you type yep. I see. Holy, what is going on over here?
Keyword. We can basically compact no title. So if I make this a welcome, then I'll kind of change the look of this. I don't really like this, so I've never done it, but you can do that. We can make functions pure. This will basically mean they have no input pin.
I agree. I also do not like that. No, I do not like that, Sam. I am.
It will just be an output pin of what we want.
The missing step here is to explain what strings are so you know why append is even possible or its purpose in UE context. Yeah, I mean, I do understand that a string, it's just a series, it's technically just a series of letters for characters, more specifically. But yeah, the order mattered here because I guess it makes sense that we're going from A to B here. And I had to put the player name as B, and then A was hello or whatever message is going to come before that. But I do agree there's a lot that seems to be glossed over in this tutorial series. There's a lot of useful information. But there is also a lot that does seemingly just get kind of glossed over, which I assume is just because it's like a beginner. It's a beginner tutorial series. It's not like an intermediate or an advanced tutorial series. But yeah, you would think more specifically strings um, should be touched on more than just once, because I think you did down in introduction to variables. Oh, text versus string versus name. Yeah, he did kind of gloss over the difference between the three of those. I think originally the only thing he mentioned as far as text in the introduction to variables was I'm pretty sure all he said was if you wanted to do something like localizing your game, you would do that in text versus a string. And I think it's because a string has maybe a specific character limit, but he didn't say whether it was due to a specific character limit or not. Um, and he really didn't even go into detail about the difference between a string and a name either. That was all just kind of entirely glossed over. Although he did make sure to tell me about the byte variable, which doesn't seem like it would be used that often outside of like, I don't know, memory optimization. So I remember thinking that was kind of weird that he spent a couple lines of his script in that video talking about bytes, but then just very quickly glossed through text and string and name. So yeah, there could have been a better explanation about what the difference was there.
Then we have the call and editor. I can't really explain this because we'd have to be using the function in a different way. But essentially, if I made a blueprint which had a function, I basically would be able to run the function locally within that blueprint. And then we have the public, protected, and private. Public basically means I can call this function from anywhere. So if, say, I had another blueprint, I'll be able to reference and call this function from that blueprint. If I set this to protected, that means the
Another
function
cat
can
here.
only be called by the current blueprint that it's in, as well as any children that derive from this blueprint. In the next videos, we're going to go over blueprint children. And then there is private. This basically means we'll only be able to call this function from within this blueprint. Okay, and those are functions.
Okay. Those are functions.
Hello! In this video, we're going to go over how to access actors within a level blueprint. We already did briefly touch on this, but I want to show you how to do this with the trigger volume. So, let's say I go to my level prototyping folder and I drag in this cube. I'm also just going
All right, too many cats here now. Y'all are taking up my keyboard space. You can lay here. That's fine. Or you don't have to lay here either. You just can't lay on my keyboard, sweetie. You can go wherever.
to go here where it says quickly add things to the project, volumes.
Here, let's go back a little bit.
And I drag in this cube.
I'll just start that over. Run that back.
Hello! In this video, we're going to go over how to access actors within a level blueprint. We already did briefly touch on this, but I want to show you how to do this with the trigger volume. So, let's say I go over to my level prototyping folder and I drag in this cube. I'm also just going to go here where it says quickly add things to the project, volumes, and I'm going to look for a trigger volume. And here it is. What I can do is I can just make sure I have this selected. Then if I go to my level blueprint, if I right click, I can go over here where it says add event for trigger volume. I'll go over to collision and I can go to add on actor begin overlap.
Okay, just do that. Got a lot of junk floating around here. trigger volume. Okay. Let's move that like down here. Yeah, that works. Okay. And level. All right, I can get rid of all this here. Don't need all that anymore. Add event for trigger volume. Okay. Collision. Add on actor begin overlap. Alrighty, I'm there.
And I can make it so when an actor begins overlap with the trigger volume, I'm just going to briefly close this window. I can select my cube. I'll right click and look for create a reference to the SM Schaefer cube.
That's right. I mean, we got this cube here already. I just use this guy. Just cube. Yep, create reference to cube.
I can just drag off here and look for set material. And I want this one, set material static mesh component. This will basically set the material inside of this cube. And I'll set it to be gold. And then if I just connect from here to here, I'll compile this, close this. Now I actually can't see this volume.
Already basically what I did yesterday.
So I spawn. And
well, I wasn't able to access this.
And when I play my game, when
or not yesterday, last week.
Overlap that trigger volume, the cube will become gold. See, so you can just select an actor, and then if you right click, you should be able to create a reference to it.
Oh,
and access the properties of.
I'll just put you in there. I got to set a material first. I did set a material first. Actor begin overlap, set material, cube.
Of that thing in your level.
Let's see here.
That thing in access the properties of it and access the properties of overlap that trigger volume, the cube will become gold. See, so you can just select an actor. And I'm just going to make it so I spawn. And then my player character will basically land in it.
An actor. That's probably me. Yep, that makes sense. You're not an actor yet. Not yet, Harry.
And when I play my game, when I overlap that trigger volume, the cube will become gold. See, so you can just select an actor, and then if you right click, you should be able to create a reference to it and access the properties of that thing in your level.
Okay. I will do that later.
Hello, in this video I wanted to go over the concept of inheritance. In Unreal Engine, every Blueprint class is based on a parent class.
I feel like there was a lot more explained in the Blueprint section last time versus this time. So if new viewer, Elementary, you weren't here originally a couple weeks ago when I did the original course. At least I got like part way through it, and then when I was about maybe like this way through it, completely different videos now. The whole course got updated with new videos to work with 5.6, and it erased all my progress that I had gone through before that. And there was a lot more information explained. I think I was just about to start or had just started interfaces. I think the section was like blueprint communication, but now that is not here. There's no blueprint communication section. It's just intro to blueprints. Maybe he determined that that was a little bit too advanced for a beginner course, but I was going through that previously. And now it seems that we're just leaving a lot of that original info out. Maybe to sell that in an actual paid course, because this is a free course here. But I did watch like a basic video on interfaces the other day that kind of explained what they're used for, um, which also ties into what I'm sure he's about to go through with inheritance, like casting and being able to, um, or specifically like the object pin of casting, because it has to cast based on what it's inheriting from, I believe.
So, for example, I have my BP door that I set up earlier. Its parent class is an actor. The child, in this case the door, inherits all its variables and functions from its parents. This child can then be extended by adding new variables and functionality that parents don't have. So let me just create a new variable inside of this door, and I'll make it say be big. And in the construction script, I'm just going to get this and have a branch. I'm also going to make this instance editable. If it's true, then I'm going to just drag in my static mesh.
Get a better look at this here. Oh, be big, question mark. Oh, hang on. I'm going to pause here for just a second. All right, I'm back. Thanks for your patience. Okay. Let's run it back just a little bit here. All right, so we're just doing a function, or no, just the construction script inside BP door with the variable be big. That's right. Okay. So branch. I can't make a new one from there. I think I can actually. Or no. I know I can just make it over here, but now I'm curious if I can make it from this menu here. No. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. All right, there we go. Be big question.
I'm also going to make this instance editable. If it's true,
Okay.
then I'm going to just drag in my static mesh. And I'm going to drag off the handle for set world scale 3D. and we can make it 3 by 3 by 3. And I'll
Is that
compile this.
world scale 3D?
Why?
3 by 3 by 3. Okay. All right. Now let's figure out how this relates to inheritance.
What I can do is I can right click on this BP door and look for create child blueprint class. We can call this the BP door child. And this will inherit all of the functionality and logic of the parent class, the door, although I can extend this and give this new variables that the parent class, the door, doesn't have. So in Unreal Engine, just know every blueprint is derived of a parent class. If I just right click and I look for blueprint class, and I go here, this will show us a list of all of the different blueprint classes that we have in Unreal Engine. There are a lot, but the 7 at the top here are the most common blueprint classes that you'll be working with. I just wanted to go over that concept of inheritance.
That was okay. Guess that makes sense. Thought he was going to talk a little bit more about it, but I guess that is like the highest level fundamental of inheritance. Inheritance in BP is kind of a special deal in UE since
To get started, we're first going to...
Oh, did I click on the first video by accident? Okay. Inheritance in BP is kind of a special deal in UE since the access is either private or public, no protected. Something to know about construction is that this calls each time you place the actor in the level or you move the actor within the level, not during runtime. Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for the explanation. What to do next? Well done for finishing the course. I hope you have a better understanding of how to use Unreal Engine. If you want to continue the journey and are wondering what you should do next, make sure to do so. Check out my learning roadmap here. Continue the journey by enrolling in the next course in the series, Master Unreal Essentials. Oh, is that a paid one? I feel like there's a paywall incoming here. $49. Yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. Oh, I swear if Blueprint Communication is in here, I'm going to be bummed out. Because that was free in the last one. No, it's just more like in the level editor. Static meshes, geometry brushes, intro to materials, sky atmosphere. Well, I feel like we kind of went through that already. Maybe I'm tripping. UI, intro to blueprints, essential nodes. Yeah, that's a... Wait. Is this not... Oh, variables too. Okay, I was thinking, I could have swore we just went through all this. User interfaces. Okay, learned nothing about UIs. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to drop $50 right now on this, on stuff that I would hope is maybe on YouTube for free. Not saying he shouldn't get paid for it, but not really in a position to drop $50 on an additional course right now. That is kind of a bummer. I do feel like the previous course was a bit more comprehensive compared to this updated version of the course. Because originally when I started the course a few weeks ago, it was, I think the version he was using was 5.2. And in this version, he updated it to 5.6, but like the whole structure of the course changed as well. It wasn't just like a one-to-one recreation, just using the newer version of the engine. What is your roadmap here? Unreal Engine Essentials, learn all the fundamentals. To be determined. So is this not created yet? TBD, or is just your thumbnail to be determined? Oh no, one lesson, one. Yeah, this isn't even done yet. This is kind of an incomplete path, it looks like. I mean, he's a instructor partner. Which is kind of funny because seeing that I feel like a lot of information was either left out or glossed over. I remember any official Unreal Engine tutorials or like video intros that I've watched before have also been in similar way glossed over, or with things that kind of left out or just assumed that it was already like known to you. All 11 related courses. Oh, this is still in development. Oh yeah, audio. So does that mean I'd be paying for a course that isn't even finished yet? Hmm. I'm gonna have to find some more resources as well. Extra content. All right, let me just explain that construction does not have anything to do with classic programming, and a constructor, quote, this is just a method called at a specific time during after actor has been loaded and before the actor is bound to the play loop. Hope this helps. Yeah, it makes sense. It seems like it's just a specific thing to Unreal, um, which, as far as I know, at least from what I've been told or what has been explained to me, is that the construction script just runs before the game starts. Um, whereas in comparison to something like begin play, it runs right as the game starts, versus construction is supposed to be beforehand. So they seem to function very similarly, but I guess there is a difference. Well, because begin play is that's not level specific, right? No. Okay, yeah, no, there's a begin play in the actor blueprint here as well. I was about to say maybe construction script is for um, blueprints that don't have the begin play, but it still does have a begin play. And they do seem very similar, begin play and construction scripts. Okay, well, got through all of these blueprint videos tonight. There's a couple other videos here. Let's see. Wait.
Hello, well done
Supporting
for finishing
assets.
the main course. In this section, we're just going to cover some other things which are helpful to know. If you just go over to your Epix Games launcher, if you head over to the Samples tab, this tab provides a link to various free example games and scenes to help you understand the various ways that you can use Unreal Engine. So if I
Okay.
scroll down, I can get
Yeah,
a
I've
list
seen
of
this.
all of the different sample packs.
previously. Or this part of
There's
the
this car configurator one, which basically shows you how
launcher.
to build a car. There's a metahuman one. So metahumans are like
Just
these
links to Fab.
high quality human characters that you can use in your games. If I scroll down, there's some game sample packs. So there's this like multiplayer shooter one. There's this RTS one.
I think the
So
next
you
thing
can
I'll end
just
up doing
analyze these
is
projects and deconstruct them, and even use them
going
in your games.
through
We
example
also have
projects like ones shown here and just kind of picking them apart and figuring out what does what. That would seem like the next logical step in my learning path, rather than trying to piece together tutorials. At some point here in the future, I do want to put together just a very, very simple project, game, like literally just like roll a ball from one end of a map to another, maybe pick up a couple things that unlock a door as you get to the end. But aside from that, I think the next best thing is going to be picking apart some of these example projects, which
This is like the marketplace for Unreal Engine. I'm just going to go
Fab
here to open it
Marketplace.
up. And this is a marketplace where I can basically add a bunch of different assets to my Unreal Engine project.
Show other viewer here, Mr. Bacon Guy has some assets on Fab, pretty advanced assets. I think it was like advanced vehicle controller, if I'm not mistaken.
One thing to note with Fab is every 2 weeks, they give away limited time free assets for everyone. So right now, because it's August, I can claim this werewolf character, this warehouse environment, although it's only going to be free until this date. It updates like every 2 weeks. So I just normally claim these assets because you never know when you may want to use these assets. And if you're ever looking for an asset or something, you can just head over to Fab. If you do decide to buy an asset from Fab, there are 2 ways that you can import it into your Unreal Engine projects. The first way is if you just go over to library, scroll all the way down until you get to this Fab library section. Here you'll basically find...
And this video player really struggles sometimes to like play and pause
a bunch of all the different Fab assets. And depending on the asset type, you can either create a project
reorient
or add
its layout.
the asset to your existing project. You can just click this button and this will basically...
Okay, pause. All right. Yeah, there's new Fab stuff. We got beach, forest, museum, and gallery, and radical robots. So I guess if you haven't claimed the Fab stuff, you got it here. Oh yeah, advanced vehicle system. Bring that up here. I was part of the free for the month, March 2020. Oh, really? That's awesome. Advanced vehicle system. I know I favorited it. If I just like go to my favorites. Oh, am I not signed in? Hang on. Let me come over here and sign in real quick. I could have swore I signed in on this browser already, but apparently not. Maybe it just logged me out at some point. Okay. Yes, continue. All right, bring it back. Library. There's a whole bunch of old stuff that I've claimed in the past. Remember at one point I tried to like learn Unreal Engine a couple years ago and then just never really dedicated much time to it. But I certainly thought it was cool I could claim all this random free stuff. Is it here? Oh yeah, here it is. Fab logs me out all the time. That makes sense. Yeah, this is some cool stuff, man. Here, I'll even put a link to this in the chat. Boom. Clearly a high profile plug right here for you. I need to update those images so bad. Are they out of date? Oh yeah, I guess the rendering kind of looks like maybe they're from Unreal 4. Like the lighting rendering. Oh yeah, I think that's the old Manny. Yeah. Good stuff here, man. From 2019. Okay. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was definitely uh old Manny. Bam. I'm in time free. Go ahead and claim these. Which I really don't think it'll ever matter, but you can technically claim the more expensive license for free as well. I'm never, ever, ever gonna do anything even remotely close to like a percentage, a micro percentage of this. But I mean, if the more expensive license is free, might as well claim it. Oh, I can just select it from here. Professional. Wait, so I wonder if that would mean it disqualifies anyone from using it that does not have over that. I don't imagine that would be silly. I would think it'd have to be that's like, if you do make over that, you have to get this, not if you make under that that you can't use it. Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. So we're just gonna click that. Yeah. Although if I've noticed if you just click buy, like from that main page previously, um or not from here. I could have swore there was like an auto buy or something. Maybe that's a different page that you can like select it and just buy it. It automatically will just give you the base version of the license. But I mean, if you can get the more expensive license for free, you might as well. It's all free. Cool. This one looks kind of neat. Very basic, but for some reason it's very pleasing to look at, as well as this beach forest. Yeah, this looks very high quality. Can't imagine anything I'll ever do with this, but it's good to have it. You never know. I've definitely read or like seen videos of people or devs on YouTube, like pretty much the entire way that they base their decision of making a new game is just, hey, what's free this month, or what can I what's cheap on the asset store. Let me grab that environment, come up with an idea for a game, boom, quick game. Radical robots. This reminds me a lot of Clank from Ratchet and Clank. It's the vibe I'm getting from this robot. It's Clank's older brother, Stank. Cool. That's neat. Sure, the next free ones are going to be here pretty soon. I think it was about 2 weeks ago that the previous free ones got added. So, all right. Well, I think that's probably going to be it for me tonight. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Assets are most times just a fraction of the game requirements. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'd imagine it's a very, very small fraction. It depends on the game too, obviously. Like it depends on exactly what you could just make like a basic little like walking simulator. But yeah, depending on what you're doing, absolutely a very, very small percentage of what is actually needed for the game. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I know words. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I'll be back next week, same time, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So free to stop in if you'd like to hang out, and be glad to have you. I'll just be doing more learning. Maybe next time I'll like pick through some projects and figure out what makes them tick, or maybe by then I'll have found a different course that is free, or maybe some other videos. I'll figure it out then. Yeah, appreciate y'all hanging out. Y'all have a good night. Take care.